Much Chita Matkata Pranam Bojantak Parasparam Katiyantastanam Nicham Tushanticha Romanticha, where Krishna says, those thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully surrendered into my service. And the good part is that they derive great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So when we talk about the holy name, we're still speaking about Krishna. And I think because this is our time that we're looking at the Lord in this form of Nam Prabhu, we should talk about him. And I was thinking sometimes it's so difficult. People tell you all the sweetnesses of chanting Hare Krishna. Sometimes I'm dry again, or my mind is wondering, whatever the problem is. I'm going through something and that's my karmic reaction. So whatever it is, the holy name is not always tasting sweet to me. But I do have to tell you some good news. Yesterday morning, I was chanting, and all I did was I could hear the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I would chant it and I could hear it. And I chant and I could hear it again and again and again. And it was, sometimes I remember when Japa used to be good like that. I sit down, I'm ready, and I chant and I could hear. And at that point, I heard Krishna's name. I thought, I was getting anxious, but I held back. I said, oh, Krishna, please, could I just continue to hear your name? And I kept chanting. I kept listening and listening and listening to his name. And it didn't go away. I could hear his name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So then I got bold and I started praying. Oh, I begged him, please let me just hear your name. If I can say it, just let me hear it. Oh Radha, oh Krishna, please let me hear your name. Please use me. And then I realized something, that of all the things that happen in this world, sometimes we get a raise from our job. Sometimes we get, the understanding that the object of our affection, that they care for us too. Sometimes we get a big bowl of ice cream with some sweet rice. And all these different situations, these tastes, they're so palatable. But I can't think of anything that I've ever had in this world, ever, that has the taste of listening, of hearing the holy name. When we hear Krishna's name is full of taste. And, a lot of times it's like being a bat. I'm missing. But when we capture, when we're able to focus and hear the holy name, there's nothing that I can compare to the taste of chanting the holy name. You just want to say it over and over again. You just want to continue to say it. You want to hear it. There's nothing that you can compare to, that you can replace it with. So full of taste. So, I think that it's nice that we are coming together like this, but there's experiences, and at some point we have to find a way not to just express those experiences that are working for us, but for those that don't work so well. Because if we can get that relationship, if we can become awake to the fact that we are in a relationship, the process of Krishna consciousness of devotional service is that relationship. It's working. We're in it. And so if you're in a relationship, you have to be attentive to all the details, Don't forget to do the right things and don't do the bad things. And I think our Krishna consciousness or our association will become so much stronger because we share something now. We're trying to develop a relationship with the holy name. We're trying to stop the bad habits. We're trying to develop good habits. But I think we have to speak about it. It can't be mechanical. Everyone gets some reciprocation. And the nice thing about it is that when you look back at the time that we're not tasting, just like this morning, my ears are clogged. So I can't hear the way I heard yesterday. I heard good last night too, but at least I can still hear the name. I can say the name. But I remember Borijan Prabhu used to say that sometimes we have to see what key it is we need when we're chanting. I may start out needing to be humble, but as I go, so I use that key of humility. But as I go, I may need to take that key of just be staying fixed, and just hearing that one mantra at a time. Or I may just say, now I need vandanam, I need to pray. Or I need to just take shelter of Krishna. I can't do anything else, so I'll take shelter today. So in this way, we're just going through chanting Hare Krishna, but we're not chanting mechanically. We're chanting with purpose, ultimately wanting to be used, engaged in the service of Radha and Krishna. So, that's my 2 cents. I think that it's nice that we always have something to talk about, to share about the holy name. And you have it too. Maybe we have to find a format where we can talk more about the things that are working, that help us in our devotional life, and those things that we've come to find out that we've changed because they're not helping us so much. It keeps it personal. Yeah. But I'm so grateful, I tell you. There's nothing as sweet. And you should remember that, because we all have some debt experience. There's nothing as tasteful as hearing the name of Krishna. It's worth everything for us. Okay? Mother Shobha Radhe.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mother. I don't know where I get my crazy injection from, but it's your turn, Mother.
All right, so we're reading chapter 4. Humility is the key. As devotees become more and more purified in heart, tears of genuine humility will wash the remaining impurities from their eyes. As they look at their previous ego state, where they solidly identified with their universe of self-created illusions, they will naturally feel drawn to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glorious instructions, which relieve one from the dictatorship of ahankara. These instructions advise us how to approach constant and affectionate chanting. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manatena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur composed a beautiful song about this third Sikshashtaka verse, in which he encourages us to do everything in our power to develop the 4 qualities necessary to practice Nama Bhajana. His words offer us practical guidelines on how to become qualified for constant chanting. Shri Krishna Kirtan. Shri Krishna Kirtan Jari Manasa Tohar Parama Jatane Tahi Labho Adhikar. If you desire to engage in chanting Krishna's names and glories, then do everything you can to gain the qualifications necessary to do so. Trinadhika hina dina akinchanachar apne manobi sadachari ahankar. You should give up all false pride and always consider yourself to be insignificant, without possessions, and lower and more humble than a blade of grass. Vrikshasama kshama guna karobi sadhan, pratihimsa tyaji anye karobi palan. Practice the virtue of tolerance by emulating the trees. Give up all vindictiveness and look after other creatures. Jivana nirvahe ane udvegana dibe para upakare nijasukha pasaribe. Do not give stress to any other being in order to maintain your body. Forget your own selfish concerns by serving others. Hoile o sarvagune guni mahasoy pratisthasa chadi koro amani hriday. Even if you possess all good qualities, do not try to profit from them by seeking prestige. Keep your heart simple. Krishna adhishthana sarve jiva jani sada korobi sammana sabe adera sarvada. Know that all living beings carry Krishna in their hearts, so you should offer them respect under all circumstances. Dainya, doya, anyamana, prathishta varjan, chari gune guni hoy, koroho kirtan. Cultivate the four qualities of humility, tolerance and compassion, respect for others, and indifference to worldly honors, and chant the holy name. Bhakti Vinoda Kandi bole Prabhu paye, heno adhikara kabe tibe he amay. Bhakti Vinod cries out with the following plea at the Lord's lotus feet. When, oh when will you make me qualified to chant your holy name? Sri Sikshashtaka, Song 3 from Gita-vali. Much has been said about humility, but how do we develop tolerance? How do we develop the right mindset? The Srimad Bhagavatam 5.1.16 gives us a clue by pointing out that the body we have received is the product of our karma. Everything else in this world works automatically by material energy's power. We cannot avoid the enjoyment or suffering due us. We have earned them. They come according to our previous karma. When we suffer unpleasantness or mishap, we are exhausting our bad karma. And if something good comes, we should know that it is coming from the storehouse of our good karma, a stock we are also exhausting as we enjoy. But we should also know that it is a useless endeavor to try to accrue only good karma. Both types of karma keep us bound to this world. Bad karma is simply an iron chain, while good karma is golden one. Those who understand this will naturally become tolerant. But such tolerance should not be confused with fatalism or the blind acceptance of destiny. While it is a fact that each of us has a large stock of karmic reactions waiting to mature and take effect, reactions we will not avoid. It is also a fact that the vast and free kingdom of our spiritual life, our soul's right to practice bhakti, awaits us. And the Shastra promises that the karma of those who become empowered by the holy name, even the karma that has already manifested in them, will gradually become completely extinguished.
You know, I couldn't get past last week's trying to come to the point of nishta, mean steady, and the things that it's going to take. That list of those 4 items of the unsteadiness, why we're unsteady. And that was still floating in my mind. But today there's humility and tolerance, 2 qualities that there are 2 keys also in Boyjan's book that we use. Sometimes we need to be humble, sometimes we need to be tolerant. What's that? Tatenu kampam shushamik shamano. When and I'm paraphrasing that verse, when one constantly undergoes a different struggles in life, but because he patiently waits for the mercy of the Supreme Lord, then liberation becomes his rightful claim. Um, so humility and tolerance. It's also the humility that's because we are aware, we've developed a little knowledge, a little understanding of our pathetic plight. So we might as well be humble. And in that state, we're opening the door to Krishna. Anything else is just so illusory. Everything else is based on pride or false conception of who we are. The reality is not there. But humility means I'm identifying with the reality that I need your association so much. I'm weak. And in that state, when we call out to Krishna, but he doesn't always come right away. We don't perceive him coming. Therefore, we have to be tolerant. And that tolerance is testing us. Because sometimes when we think we're doing all the right things, we're ready now. Krishna, you see, I'm trying to be humble, reciprocate with me. But all these things these obstacles, these tests, all these different situations are only here to make us better, where he says, if you handle me roughly and your embrace or make me brokenhearted by not being present before me, still, you're my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So it's very, very sweet. So that a lot was said there, a lot is read. And as I said, I like to hear from you. So let's open it up. If there's anything that's come to mind, anything that you want to share, anything you want to ask about, let's do it now.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, such powerful words, in such few words, he just packs so much. Last week, the line that stayed with me was how we are extremely subservient, in a subservient mood toward Maya. And this week, it is the dictatorship of Ahankara. I mean, that is what is keeping us in this sorry state, is the dictatorship of our Ahankara and our our being stuck with Maya. Just that prayer, the Krishna Kirtan that he writes about Bhakti Vinod Thakur's, that just is packed with so much information, so many things that we should be doing. That prayer is beautiful.
Yes, it is. Ahankara is the problem.
It is.
And I always say the mind is the secret agent to our false conception of self. I want this, I don't want that. I like this, I don't like that. This is just the mind. And the mind comes with so much baggage. We don't know what's in that mind. So nasty. But Ahankara, it's just, we're being so bombarded from within and from without. And we have this vehicle, this field of activity which has senses. And then there's the objects of the senses. And then there's the process. Dayato Vishram Pungsang are contemplating these objects of the senses, then this attachment develops. And you know how the rest of that goes. So I guess one of the first things is that we have to be awake to the fact. That's why I like chanting Jiv Jago. Lord Garunga's calling, wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long are you going to sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? So we're sleeping. We have to be awake for self-realization. And although we've heard these things before, generally there becomes a need. In the association of devotees, if we continuously hear and chant, then if we're not tasting, we need something. We're aware that we need more. So from that need comes a yearning. We want something different. And with the knowledge that comes in association, the awareness of who we actually are. And this is another point why the false ego takes over, because we think that we're something other than who we are. The very ABCs that Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, and we're hearing it every few days, we're not our bodies, we're spirit souls. We're not our minds. We're not our senses. We're not the objects of the senses. We're not the controller. We're not the doer. We're Tatastha. It's the internal potency or the external potency. Make up your mind. And there's things that pull us further into the illusion, to the abyss of the external energy, and those things would bring us closer to being used by Krishna and his internal energy. So it's just, we have to keep it simple. We can't make it so complex. So when we hear that the false conception of self is the real enemy, then we have to do things, not just to be aware of that, but to begin to dismantle that false sense of self. And that is the process of Krishna consciousness. And hearing is so wonderful, because the more we hear about Krishna, then, for me, I become a little enthusiastic. I hear about Krishna, and it's not mundane. So when you hear about Krishna, this is true soul food. We become enlightened, we become enlivened. The soul is awakening when we hear about Krishna. When we engage in his service, the same awakening. When we chant his name, we're being awakened to the reality of who we are. What we're about. We're about serving Krishna in a way favorable to him. We're about trying to learn how to please him, doing things for his satisfaction. And this comes as we begin to try to chant the holy name, a little nicer, not forgetting those offenses, not forgetting how to associate with the devotees and appreciate. I told you I used to play a game with the devotees. Okay, we're going to see who can describe the most qualities of a devotee. I said, no, I'm not going to lose this game. I'm going to find more good qualities about everybody. I love that game, because you get to say all the good things that you can find in the personality of a devotee. And you have to keep going and keep going. And the devotees are so juicy, they're so sweet. And how can you not keep finding wonderful things about the devotees to tell? And this way we're glorifying the devotees, we're appreciating one another. It's a nice game to play. All right, somebody else, let's go.
Mother Vrindavaneshwari, she's up next.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was curious, they mentioned about karma, good karma and bad karma, and that they're binding. How does can you explain how one does not accumulate karmic reactions, good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Service. That's it. You have to take a karma-free diet. You have to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. That's not good karma, not bad karma, not nice karma. It's karma-free, by being engaged in the service of the Lord. And that's our real position. So when we take on service, it's so subtle. When we take on service in the temple community, there is no good or bad karma there. when we follow the orders of the spiritual master or the representative of the spiritual master, when you're worshiping the deity, when you're cooking, all those acts of devotional service, completely karma-free. But the good thing is that Naha Bikram and Asosti, there's no loss or diminution. Any advancement that we make, it continues and it protects us from the most dangerous type of fear, animal kingdom. So it's so amazing that we just and we don't do it for the good result, but there's a good result. It has nothing to do with karma. It has everything to do with Krishna, because we're rightly situated. As we engage in acts of devotion, then we're serving the Lord of our hearts. We're serving the self of the self. When it's one thing to realize I'm trying to get things together, and you come to know I'm really not my body. And then you realize you're not the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, and the false conception of self. But I'm spirit soul. But then you realize as you go deeper looking for yourself, that the self of yourself is the Supreme Lord, and he's right there in our heart, waiting for us to turn to our natural position of hearing from him. And he's always trying to give us, he gives us direction through intelligence, Siddhami Buddhi Yogam Tum. Whole point of the Gita was, to surrender by use of intelligence, Don't, your emotions are telling you one thing, Arjuna, that you don't want to fight, you're going to incur sin. Yeah, I can't do it, I don't want to. Forget it. But Krishna's in front of you. And for us, if Krishna's not in front of us, if his representative is in front of us, or the representative of the representative is in front of us, that is fine. That's Krishna's instruction. So that's what we take. And then we're serving. When we are in our right position, we say, oh my God, I'm spirit soul. I'm a devotee. I'm a servant of Krishna. Oh my God, let me serve him. Bhakti mama vijananti, Yavandas chashmi tatvataha. Krishna says, you can know him as he is only by devotional service. And one is in union with me through such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. That does not mean we've got to die and go somewhere. We can experience that right here and now. Anyway, I wish I could experience it a little more, and more and more. But like we said last week, too subservient and affectionate to Maya. It's just, the environment is so toxic. That is why devotee association is so important, because the devotees are always going to give you Krishna. You see a devotee and you remember Krishna. You hear devotees and you remember. Devotees will have prasadam. Devotees chant the holy name. They're reading things. Devotee association. From Shraddha, that little faith, Rupa Goswami's formula, sadhu sangha. What to speak of high association. But when there's no big tree, a little tree will do. If you're in a blazing desert, you're trying to get that sun off of you. So we take what Krishna sends. Okay, let's go. I talk too much. Don't make me start calling names, because you know I'll do it.
We need to hear you, Prabhu. That's
Excuse
nice. Me? We need to hear you. That's why we are quiet.
Mother, I start rambling and things like that. But according to Krishna, that we become enlightened and enlivened by conversing, revealing our minds with one another and conversing about him. So I become so enthused by hearing whatever questions or your comments. We're in this. Remember, I said from the very first time I came here, I said, I'm doing this because I'm trying to become better. I need help so much. And to have people who are devotees that I can talk to about the process of trying to become, decent and trying to approach the holy name. And, which this is trying to be a disciple. One of the nicest things a disciple can do is to avoid the 10 offenses. And it's not easy when it comes to the point, and it's also an offense to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. How many material attachments are there? To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By the time I get to the 10th, offense, I'm just wiped out. Because, but you don't give up. You say, Krishna, I'm weak. Please. Vandanam is powerful. We got to keep praying. You just have to keep praying. Remember the sparrow. The sparrows just said, give back those eggs or I'm going to dry up the ocean. That's determination. That's another one of Boy John's keys. And the ocean thought the sparrow was nuts. The sparrow just went to work, taking one drop at a time. And Garuda, here's the determination of the sparrow. And Garuda comes, hey, give up those eggs or I'm going to dry you up. And the ocean brings those eggs back. So there are forces. We have, have a whole parampara. There's so much mercy coming down, and we can be recipients of that mercy if we connect ourselves properly. I should look at some of the sweetness in Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother.
The descriptions of karma as steel chains as bad karma, golden chains as good karma. They're still chains, they still bind us. That was a powerful kind of illustration to remember. So we don't forget. It's easy to remember the bad karma is a chain. The good karma, we should always remember. Also remember is it's a chain, but it's a golden chain. We're still in the jail cell. We may be a polished jail cell, but we're still in the jail. So sometimes we get these ideas, even sometimes you hear devotees. Sometimes you may get caught up in material activities or philanthropic activities or such. But we're really, as transcendentalists, we're really shooting for trying to bring about, an end to this material existence and reclaiming our eternal spiritual existence. So I think this reminder of these golden chains is helpful because it prevents us from getting it confused that we're not simply just trying to create a heaven on earth or a good, comfortable situation here on earth. We're really trying to transcend this material existence.
That's nice, Drona. It's about associating with pure devotees, with pure devotees of the Lord. Because we forget, because there's so many desires that we have, and there's desires that are still in the seed form, and we just, we have a lot of material desires. But the association of devotees wakes us up to the reality that this is not what I want. I want real happiness, and real happiness doesn't come from getting a whole bunch of stuff. I got a new car. Yeah, we finally got it. We got the car. We got it. It's gorgeous. We got the car. Oh my God. We got the house. It's just stuff, And And we walked away from that stuff decades ago, many of us, and only to find that now with Krishna consciousness, we bring back a certain romanticism of that we have this stuff and I'm going to use it. Krishna sent this to me and I'm using it. That's true. We can use things in Krishna's service. But if we're not clear, then our whole spiritual life becomes pretty much lukewarm. And we can take the temperature by finding that we're trying to enjoy. We're trying to enjoy, and we're trying to be the controllers. And we're only meant to serve and to be exploited by Krishna, to be used by Krishna. So I think that one good reminder is that I know earlier, Satchidananda Swami speaks about the relaxed devotional service in the company of friends, and you have some nice prasadam and you go for a swim and things of that nature. But just remember, don't get too comfortable, because at any moment, if you begin to do this and say, oh, this is just great, you know, then the next thing is you've gone further and further away from the real purpose of life, which is to, you know, purify our existence and become lovers of God. And we can do that. We just have to stay sober. So what you're saying is really sweet, but we have to be careful that we don't trade in devotional service for some gold chains. And that is really, I think, the point that you're raising. Gold chains look good. Oh my God, it looks so beautiful. It's gold, but it's a chain. It's going to keep me in this material world. Better we give that gold chain to Krishna. See if he can use it. You know, maybe he wants it. We don't. You know, that's proper renunciation. But anyway, you get the gist of what I'm saying. But I still hear that point. Humility, act in knowledge. Jivasrupahaya Krishna Nichadas. Let's stay servants of Krishna. That's who we are. We're not big devotees. We're not so smart. Let's stay servants of Krishna. And let's wait. Let's learn to wait for Krishna's embrace. That tolerance, you know, I go back to mommy. I know mommy's coming. She's coming. She said she'll be here. Mommy's coming. I love waiting on Krishna like that when I think of that way. That is our faith becoming thick. Can you imagine waiting for Krishna like a young child waiting for mommy because she says she's coming back? Oh my God. I can do all kinds of things. I can play marbles. I can color. I can do all kinds of good things because mommy is coming. There's no question about that. So our coloring and marbles and things like that have turned to hearing and chanting and serving. Yes, Krishna's coming for us. So we just wait for him patiently and just stay engaged in his service. Stay hearing and chanting and praying. No, it's nice. It's nice. All right.
We have
So
160 days at ISKCON has her hand up.
Come on, mother.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for today's session, and thank you for showing us the Panchtattvas early on in the morning. I have a question. So does humility mean, like, you know, I have to be obedient to everybody around me and just say, yes, boss, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, like to everybody around me?
No.
Does it make me humble and like I'm following the 100% humility rule? So
No.
I just have to be obedient to everybody, right? Does that humility word mean that?
No. Humility, the first thing is there's different definitions, but humility means one is not being anxious to be glorified by others. That's one definition of humility.
Means being modest.
And to be aware, you know, of our position. Another aspect of humility is to have knowledge of our position and our relationship with the Supreme Lord. Actually, I'm not a master. I can never be the master. I am a servant. I belong to the master. Krishna is my master. And I'm a master through Das, Das, Anudas. I'm a master through, because I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the. We don't have that much time. That's how far down the line I am. So humility I always say, is an act of knowledge, to have knowledge of our real relationship with who we are and relationship with the Supreme. That is real knowledge. And because of that awareness, I have a humble attitude. Why? Because I'm aware that there's an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord that has been broken. And he's still coming after me and sending people for me. So it's obvious it wasn't him that broke the relationship. Seeing my pathetic plight and being aware of my rebellious nature, I take a submissive, a humble stance and ask the Lord, please engage me in your service. So it's like that. Just saying, doing whatever someone tells you, that's not it.
Okay, so
And
humility is in relationship to God, right? Yeah, my personal, as a devotee, my personal relationship with God, that humility factor. Am I right?
you
In
said,
relationship to God, in relationship to the personality of Godhead, right? Humility.
yes, but humility has to manifest just your awareness keeps you humble. Even if you're dealing with fruitive workers, that doesn't mean that you don't know who you are. So knowing who you are, you deal with people accordingly, but you're still humble. Even if you have to take on a position of being in charge, you're still humble because you're aware of your real true position as a servant. So therefore, you're always. And the other thing is, as far as this situation of humility, um, there's a very sweet understanding where Krishna told Arjuna, just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Those soulful souls will impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So that's 434 in Bhagavad Gita. That will explain the process which opens up the relationship. So, we have to approach a spiritual master, in all humility, And what does that look like? Submissive inquiry, submissive, not challenging. It has to be with submission. And the rendering of service to back it up. Then the reciprocation is that knowledge will be revealed to you or imparted unto you because they've already seen the truth. So it's like somebody got something and knows something, and I want it. So I have to follow the process. And just like I have to check them out, they have to check me out. So you learn that. You get this understanding by approaching spiritual teachers with a submissive inquiry and the rendering of service. It can't be challenging. The humility is that I have enough understanding to know if I want to be blessed, then I have to actually take a submissive stance. Remember, you can always say, this is right for me, this isn't right for me. But the process is one has to be in a humble state, a submissive state of mind. Anyway, I hope it helps. We'll go further. But read that verse, Mother, 434, and you can tell me what you think.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother. Okay. What time? There used to be, it's like the Carl Burnett show. Y'all are all too young. At the end of Carl Burnett, used to sing the song, I'm so glad we had this time together. I can't say what the scenes we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. It's getting close to that time. I got to be careful. Jay-Z, you didn't say anything today. What is wrong with you? Or do you just have a picture sitting up there and you're somewhere sleeping?
No, Prabhu, I'm just, I'm actually listening attentively, but you know, I'm busy. It's Saturday. I have many things to do. Yeah, I've been listening intently, and the one reflection I could share is this morning I got up at 3:30 and was chanting, and it was some of the best chanting that I've done in a very long time. My personal prayer was so deep and so like genuine and just so focused at that time in the morning today. I just, you know, I just felt like a shift inside me. You know, it was really quite remarkable. I just wanted to share.
Him again.
Sorry?
Sounds like you felt like you needed him again.
Well, I feel like I need him all the time, but you know, just with work and everything, it's hard to, you know, get up at 3:30 in the morning, but it's such a peaceful sattvic time. You know, it's different when you're up in those hours. As you know, you get up those hours yourself and chant and read, and it's just completely different. You could feel there's a whole different energy. It's, you know, the modes are completely different that time of the day. I mean, I guess it was partly, you know, where I am personally in my spiritual life and relationship with Krishna, as well as the time of day. But it was just a really wonderful day. So obviously, you know, I went back to sleep. I got up just in time to be on this call today, and yeah, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm not, you know, purposely not sharing, but I take in everything that everyone says and listen to the realizations as well. Yeah.
Well, here's one for you, John. Remember when we went to the 64 rounds, when we went to do 64 rounds?
Yeah, of course.
Brace yourself. It's going to be coming back. 64 good ones. That was good Japa. I watched it that day. It was really, really good Japa. So
yeah, that was a wonderful time. Yeah, yeah. There's really, really dedicated time where you're just away and there's nothing else to think about or do. You know, they prepare all the prasadam, and then the meetings in between are all focused on japa. It was wonderful. Those japa retreats are amazing.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're begging me to have a 64 round day in Philadelphia. I hear them knocking down the walls. Come on, Harry, let's do 64. Maybe we'll start with 32. Anyway, thank you, Jay-Z.
Yeah, no worries, Hari. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Hare Krishna.
Okay, John. Drona. We're done?
Yes, we can end it here.
Yes. I didn't bother Mother Sue Davy. I ain't saying nothing.
We can end with our obeisances to all the assembled devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha. Thank you so much, Haryashra Prabhu.
I have a question. How come I don't see y'all? Why does everybody have those black boxes up? Maybe next time. I mean, it's so personal when we see each other. Instead of looking to this computer and a black box, it's ridiculous.
Well, for me personally, Hari, I just told you I got up just in time to be on this call. You don't want to see me now.
But I love seeing the video. There's one last thing, don't worry, it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're family. And you're just beautiful. It doesn't matter. Thank you so very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Haryashra Prabhu, the Panchatattva, is that a brown color that they're wearing today?
Yes, it's
Or
it's two outfits. It's the outfit that they used to wear. It's a brownish with the vest and the chutter. So, and they have another outfit where they have the bungee.
Mhm.
So I just put the one on them with the brown, and then put the bungee cord on with them.
Wow. Wow. I couldn't tell whether it was maroon or brown. I thought it was brown, but sometimes the light changes.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's brown.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Shutters.
We gotta get a better camera so that we can do a better job.
It looked great. I just sometimes the color, like the purple one you have, is really not the same color that it shows because of the light. That comes through.
All right, thank you, Jonah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.